My course is going to be on the topic of streams of modern Judaism. And primarily this is a course, if we were to give it an academic delineation, it would be in the area of Jewish philosophy, Jewish thought, and ideologies, using historical method. But nonetheless, it's important to know that it's not a course in history per se, but rather in trying to uncover and understand the character of the different streams of modern Judaism through the ideologies and philosophies that they carry. Now, of course, I think that most people automatically know that when I'm talking about streams of modern Judaism, so we're talking about Orthodox Judaism, right? And that, or I should say that in terms of a question, are we talking about Orthodox Judaism? Almost everybody would agree that when we're talking about streams of modern Judaism, we're talking about conservative Judaism, we're talking about Reform Judaism. Those who know anything about it would agree that, I don't think anybody would argue that we're talking about re-Constructionist Judaism. And if we want to continue with things that unfortunately we won't have time to do in the course, we can talk about secular Judaism and cultural Judaism. I think almost everybody would understand and agree that these are streams of modern Judaism. But there's a big question that, and I think people will disagree when it comes to orthodoxy. Is Orthodox Judaism a stream in modern Judaism? Or, as very often we think, and orthodoxy presents itself, maybe orthodoxy is the same thing, or Orthodox Judaism is the same thing as true Judaism, or Judaism as it always was in the pre-modern period. I can already tell you that there's a lot of reason for this debate, and either position regarding this question has something to stand on. Nonetheless, we're going to be, I'm explaining as to why I'm putting discussions on Orthodox Judaism together with conservative, Reform, and Reconstructionist in a course on streams of modern Judaism. There's no doubt about it that Orthodox Judaism became a part of modern Judaism through the experience of modernity, however you look at the coin. And I'll leave that point for later when we go in the course itself. This will be something that we'll take up. I don't want you to think, because of my explanation now, that there'll be more of an emphasis on orthodoxy than on the other streams of Judaism. They'll be fairly balanced all throughout the course. Some of the general questions that we'll be dealing with, in addition to that which I just posed concerning orthodoxy, is, for example, what are the similarities and differences between conservative and Reform Judaism? Very many people use the terms interchangeably, though people who identify as Reform or conservative will almost never do that and will note the differences between them. Even more important, a question that we're going to be talking about in this course is, where did the streams of modern Judaism come from? What do the ideologies of each of these streams have to say about such topics as Jewish peoplehood or Jewish history? What's the nature of Torah, right? Many people think Orthodoxy is in favor of Torah, Reform isn't, which absolutely is not true. There are totally different and even opposite takes upon what the word Torah means and where it comes from. That's also a question we'll be talking about. Also, what do each of these streams of Judaism have to say about Zionism or about the relationship between religion and ethics? More specifically in this course, we're going to be learning about the streams of modern Judaism from within the ideological texts that form them. In this context, we'll see how the different streams of modern Judaism arose out of conflicting views as to how Western Jewry ought to respond to the major challenges facing the Jewish religion and facing Jewish existence more generally, following the transformation of the West that began at the end of the 18th century with the phenomenon known as Enlightenment, and that continued and actually came together in the form of these streams of Judaism following emancipation in the middle of the 19th century. All in all, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be learning from these texts chronologically how each of these groups comes out of one of the positions regarding a response to the modernity, to the new realities coming up in the West. And from this, we're also going to see how from these ideological positions that were formed in the 19th century grew what we know of as the different streams of Judaism in the 20th century.